So osteoporosis is really sick, weak, maybe even infected bone. It's really bad news, okay? Can we fix that just by bringing in some minerals? No. Now we need a heroic effort to recover this. But the interesting part of bone metabolism is that it's controlled by kidney and parathyroid. And so many of you women have had children, and you've had the misfortune to tear rectally to vaginally, they sew you up, everything seems fine. And 30, 40, 50 years later, you've got maybe both legs with edema or one leg with edema, and nobody knows why. It's like a secret. It's the scar has sedated the normal biofield energy flow to that kidney for all that period of time. And the question is, can it be fixed? Absolutely. And as we learn more and more about the biofield, we can do more and more to deal with these things. So kidney and parathyroid become a really critical issue for the body if we're dealing with osteoporosis or osteopenia. And the beauty is when you get these glands, the kidney and the parathyroid to test on, now you can see the body can flood itself back with the minerals it needs and recover the bone. But until then, it's some complicated, supposed complicated mystery. Okay. So, promoting healthy bones, we're going to need live source things like vitamin D3. And it's kind of interesting. Once we put on clothes, it's pretty hard to get adequate D3. And the darker your skin is, the harder it is. So African Americans and the Asian people have much more trouble with this. But even Caucasian, when you go out and you're in the sun and you sweat and you come right in and you take a shower, you lose those sweat oils and you lose most of the vitamin D you were trying to get from going out there without a shirt or whatever. So it's very hard to get D. And now if we take a supplement, we've observed clinically that if you're over 40, it's really hard for many of you to absorb the D. And I believe the reason for this is your gallbladder. It seems like America is an epidemic of liver gallbladder unhappiness, okay? And of course, remember, in Chinese medicine, liver gallbladder, especially the gallbladder, is called the angry person, the guy that's got a problem with that. And it certainly seems like that's escalated in our culture quite a bit. So what do we do to get this D? Well, the first thing, and the thing I would like to see you all do, is flush the gallbladder, clean the gallbladder up so that it works the way it was engineered. And one of the reasons it's so hard, many of you have done flushes, you get out all these stones, and 6 months later you got the problem again. And why is that? That's because your lifestyle, your body is perceiving from your lifestyle a lot of stress. Who in this room doesn't have, anybody in this room doesn't have stress? Hey, we got one. Oh yeah, those people, okay, you get the idea. Just about nobody goes around without stress. And when you're highly stressed, you can lose vitamin B6. B6 is the nutrient that keeps the bile salt in suspension in the gallbladder. And you ladies have really been targeted for a B6 problem by using any kind of synthetic hormone replacement. In the late 60s, early 70s, when this was first introduced, the physician's desk reference said that if you are taking any synthetic hormone replacement, that you should take 50 milligrams of B6, and if you don't, within a matter of 6 months or less, you may become a vitamin B6 dependent. Translated to English, that means you can't function normally at regular levels of B6, 1 or 2 milligrams. You would, for the rest of your life, need a much higher dose. So if that's happened to you, you're pretty much guaranteed to have a gallbladder issue. And if you do, then you're not going to have bile. And if you don't have adequate bile flow, you're not going to absorb the D. So you take D and you take a pinprick test and you find you're not at normal level. If that happens, the quick countermeasure, notice the word, the quick countermeasure is you get a little bit of organic limonene, essential oil of orange, You get about an ounce of water. You put 6-8 drops of D3 in there, so you got about 14,000 IU of D in the water. And then you put 1 or 2 drops of limonene in. You see it completely break up. You drink this, and now your D level will come back up to normal. So it's very, very powerful. A question?
Are you saying lemon or lemonade?
I'm saying limonene, which is essential oil of orange. Okay? All right. So, and we do that until we can promote the best gallbladder function. And when we have good gallbladder function, you have the most beautiful hair and skin. And when you have the most beautiful hair and skin, you women are going to be very happy. Yeah?
What if you don't have a gallbladder?
What if you don't have a gallbladder? So she went down the road. B6 was gone. The bile salts, which are kept in suspension in the bile veins and in the gallbladder with B6, was missing. So what medicine did when the gallbladder jammed was remove the gallbladder. Then they took the bile veins from the liver and reconnected them to the common bile duct. And then usually within 4 or 5 years, they jam, and now your bile is going into your blood. And this is what Chinese medicine says makes the angry person. So what do we do about that? You still have to pay your dues. You've got to flush the bile veins so that you can get normal bile flow again. But when you get it, there's no little sac, no gallbladder sac, to hold it and squirt it into the small intestine as the fat comes along. So what do we do? And what happens? Well, let's say you get the bile veins clean and everything's right, and you get up somewhere between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning, that bile will flow somewhere between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So that's got to be your main meal. And if you do want to cheat by going out at night or something, you would take some limonene so you can emulsify the fats of that meal. Okay? But you're at risk to gain a great deal of weight. Your hair and skin are going to suffer because you can't get the oils, but also you don't get the energy and power from the oil. So your whole body is devastated by this. So it's a very, very important thing if you want longevity and great quality of health, is to be able to have really good bile flow.